Welcome to Live at the Blue Box. It is June 27th. We did that on purpose, Martha. We kept your mic off. We are now about to start our second show of the night. Hi, Meerkat. Hi, Google Hangout. Hi, YouTube Live. Hi, William.
Hi, Tech
And hi, Jenny. Hi, everybody. Okay, that's enough of that. Okay, so we are... Hi, Dad. Okay. We're going to start Binge-worthy.
Why are we so far apart today?
I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Rob wanted his own little area.
But no, I had to sit like this so I could see you guys.
He wanted to be the host.
Sit on a stool. Yep. Uh-oh, Martha's going to make stool jokes already with the potty mouth.
I just made a look. I didn't make a stool.
Are we going to sample? Hey! Sorry.
I hear it's the new Guy Ritchie movie. Chris is
I
in.
thought you said Dia Ritchie.
Oh, okay. People are trying to eat. I mean, I'm going to be in a
or
moment.
Itchy and Scratchy.
So, this is Binge-worthy. Basically, I bet you can guess the premise of the show. We
go spend a lot of money?
We binge eat and then purge.
We eat a lot of food.
We binge shows, and we're going to change it. It's going to be like we binge everything, but we binge TV shows, and then we pick one each week, and then we watch it.
Only ones that are on the...
You need to be louder.
I'm not as loud
She's
as
number
Alil.
one.
I'm on the quiet mic because Alil yells into it.
Yeah, a little super loud, and you've got the Alil mic, so... That smells like beef and cheese. All right, how's that?
I don't know. How is
Much
it?
better.
Okay.
I project.
But it's got to be shows that are on like Netflix, Hulu,
Right,
or
it's
Amazon.
on Netflix,
They have
Amazon.
to be bingeable. You can't...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Community is on Yahoo. I was thinking we'd do a binge on that at some point. That'd be fun.
How about you just wait in line because they
All
have other ones already ready to go.
All right.
Wow.
Lady.
We have the
So,
next two.
Wow, show owner.
we picked our binge for this week. I think Chris picked it.
I did.
Chris, you want to tell everybody what we're doing?
We binge watch Sens8 on Netflix.
Has
Yes.
anyone seen it?
Anyone seen it?
Did anyone do their homework? William? No,
Anybody?
you better not
Anybody
be
watch Sense8? Anybody
Anyone?
on Meerkat?
Bueller?
It's
Anybody watch
inappropriate,
Sense8?
William.
If you watch Sense8, let us know.
Yeah,
you can also write questions in that. People are actually watching the social media. Not Alil, he's too busy eating. But the rest of us are watching social media.
Hey, what's with the 8? No. I'm sending in questions.
Sense8, everything. Oh!
Hey.
All right, so let's set up what this show is. It's a show that's on...
already?
Well, no, it's a show on
nothing.
Netflix.
We haven't set up anything.
It is produced by the Wachowski siblings.
And directed
They call
some of the
themselves
shows.
just the Wachowskis.
Right,
now.
right. They used to be called the Wachowski brothers. Now they're the Wachowskis.
Yes.
Yes.
Here was the surprise in the credits. I mean, they did The Matrix. I like their stuff. I think it's cool. I was excited because of that. When I saw who co-wrote it with them, it's J. Michael Straczynski. Big win for me.
Okay, I don't know.
You
who
don't
that
like
is.
J. Michael Straczynski? You're making a face. Really?
You guys can be more opposite. Just want to let you know.
What was Spider-Man that he did? Oh, in the comics? I don't care about that. I loved what he did with Babylon 5, except for the last season. I thought he built a beautiful show there.
Where? What show?
Seasons 2 through
Babylon
4 were
5.
Oh, I didn't
so
see that.
great. I was all in on
Bruce
those.
Boxleitner.
So, yeah, it's all Bruce Boxleitner.
I love her.
Yep.
Oh, Scarecrow and Mrs. King.
Yep. Oh, you got my mom lit up out there.
Hey, we'll binge watch 70 shows later.
Yeah.
So
Bruce Boxleitner, why don't you love me? Yep. To kiss and
Are we
to
gonna
hug
watch
me.
TJ
I'm
Hooker
on
too?
Babylon 5. None of that rhymed.
No.
So, all right. So that was my big surprise. Directors on this, we had the Wachowskis direct. I don't have my names in front of me, but
That's great.
one
I'm
of
so
the
glad
guys,
you were prepared.
one of the guys that directed is the guy that directed Run Lola Run, which is a
Love
fantastic
that movie.
German
Did you-
film.
movie?
Lots of fun, really cool.
Subtitles.
I
So
thought
if
that
you
the
don't like
direction on this
subtitles, you might have trouble, but
was
it's
excellent.
a brilliant movie.
Yes. So
They did do a version that wasn't subtitled.
of Run Lola Run.
Yeah, I forget what it was called.
it was
Run Lola Run. I think you're so wrong
I'm
down there.
probably so
It was
wrong.
probably dubbed, and she's like, "Well, that wasn't subtitled. That was."
they remade it.
It's the
into
same
another-
movie.
It had those mouths.
No, they didn't.
It had
Run
the
Lola
mouths
Run.
like
Get
Clutch
outta here.
Cargo,
What,
where it's
Clutch
like-
Cargo?
It was
Really?
Clutch Cargo, so it had English. And you better run, Lola.
Oh, it was
Yes.
such a good movie.
Yep.
Okay.
What are we
and
talking
Are we talking about the
Sense8.
movie? Are we
Thinking
talking about
of
Sens8?
Go.
So-
Oh my gosh.
Go. That had nothing to do with the Run Lola Run. That was a good movie. I like that
I
one.
love that movie.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Ronin 47?
And Go Bots. I like that too. Yeah.
Oh.
What happened to binge
Thank
worthy?
you, Molly.
So-
Now subbing in for Edward is Molly.
So do you want to? Why don't you guys tell kind of what happens in the show? I mean, what's it
All
about?
right, I will start out. The
'Cause
show
you
is
guys don't know, right?
the show is about the number 8 in the title. It comes with there are 8 people who are linked telepathically, and they live anywhere in the world. And what happens is to not give it away totally. Daryl Hannah is one of these people that and they call them pods. 8 people form a pod. A pod has to be born by another Sens8. And they link these people together, and so that they can feel and think and hear each other.
And
it doesn't matter.
They can actually even go to each other. So,
Right.
there's someone in Africa, there's someone in India, there's someone in Chicago, and
Germany, San Francisco.
yeah. And
and
so
London.
all of a sudden they will just look around and they're in Japan.
Japan.
They're in
No,
Japan.
Korea.
I'm sorry, Korea.
Yeah, Korea.
And so they'll all of a sudden just start looking around and go, "Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I'm standing in Blue Box.
They're-
What is this? Where am I?" And
But they don't
but they
physically
No,
do it.
they
Yes,
mentally-
because they can touch the person.
But they
Right,
can't.
right,
but they
but
can't.
they're
Their body is still wherever they're at. But they
explain
can
it.
see.
They do explain it in the
Yeah,
show
it's
too. Like right now, it
fascinating.
seems really convoluted, and when you're watching it, at first you're like, I don't get how are they there, but they're
We're
not
going to
there.
make sure nobody watches
But they
the show.
actually-
but it's so good.
It's
they
really, really good.
explain
So,
it
yes.
in a really thought out way, and it
So
like,
they're connected mentally, but I could project to be next to Martha and
You are.
see.
Oh, that
I'm just saying
works.
I could see Martha, I can touch Martha, but my body would still be wherever I'm from.
But if he was going to where Martha is, and I was in the room with Martha, I would see her interacting with
Air.
air. If I was where Chris is, I would just see him in like a catatonic state.
Or
No, you see me
see him
interacting with
acting
Martha,
there.
but I'm not there.
No. They explained that. They said that because remember when the guy that played Saeed, I can't think of his name. The guy that played Saeed on Lost, he's in it. I love
Yes.
that guy. I can't think of his name. Naveed Andrews.
Yes,
or
Naveed
Andrews,
Andrews.
or however you say his name. He's great. He explains it because he's strapped down in a hospital, and there's these doctors that are trying to find out where this pod is.
He's not one of the 8.
He's not one of the 8.
But he can talk to them because he is a Sens8, but
Right,
not one
he's
of
a
their
sensei.
pods.
He can talk to him. So he's strapped down, and he says to the other character, when he's visiting the other character, he says, "We can talk when I'm visiting you, but just so you know, when you visit me, they hear what I'm saying.
Right.
So when you're there, when he's at the other guy's place, his body is just laying there. It's all mental. But if he comes to visit him, it's like you're talking to yourself.
But the actions aren't because when
That's not
the
what
two-
you said.
But when the two characters
what I
kiss, he goes through the actions
Yeah,
of
he
them
was
kissing.
sitting there
So
going
but
like
you're-
Yeah,
the
yeah,
the
but
words
that's because she was there.
No, they
she
were
was
there.
there. He was there?
he was there.
He was there.
He was there when they kissed.
2 against 1.
No, but your
Finally.
movement is part of it, but your
Yes.
speaking is not.
Yes.
Okay, so
You're-
movement
we're
is,
both
speaking
right.
is not.
Yes.
Okay.
We're both right.
We're both right in this.
Most-
All of the
Mostly I'm
above.
right.
But no, that can't be totally true because, like, when they do the fight scenes, they do things like the woman in Korea is an amazing fighter.
Martial artist.
And when she, like, appears to them and helps them out, she's not in, like, where she is, like, running around doing all these amazing things. She's basically in that person's body.
Yes.
Yes.
Fighting for them.
She's not fighting
so
alongside
it's not
the
completely
person.
true that their bodies are moving that way.
Yeah, because she's not
Not all the
jumping
time.
around
No,
her
wait a
Wait a minute.
office.
I feel like we're in that
No,
part
there
of
is-
Austin Powers.
Yes.
When they're like, I wouldn't think very hard about it. And you at home, I wouldn't think about it
Right.
either.
No,
Just
I
enjoy
would,
the ride.
Because you're right, because there are the fight scenes, but then there's the part where they kiss and they are actually going through the motions of it. So maybe just to make him look like a fool.
I think
Yeah.
they just do it.
That was pretty much what
I
it was.
thought, yeah, they just.
Yeah,
That's
so
okay. Just
so-
watch the show.
So this pod of people, they can use each other's skills and language.
Yeah.
So they are all from different parts of the world, like we said, Korean, African, German. One of the girls is
India.
from Iceland, India, San Francisco, and Chicago. They're from all over the place, but they can communicate with each other, even though they're all speaking their native language.
Right.
So, and it's all in English, so we can understand it, which is great.
And they have done it where someone said, "When did you learn German?" Because you were just speaking
Yeah,
German.
because
So they do hear it. They do.
when somebody's transported, when they're visiting them and they're speaking to each other, they're speaking whatever language. So if somebody happens to be in the room, they're like, "You speak Swahili? When did you
Right.
learn to speak?"
So people do hear them.
You know what? I think we covered this just a moment ago.
They can communicate.
30-second delay.
30-second delay. Hey, wait! It's a movie. It's a show about 8 people. No. So
Wait, I didn't get any of that out of it.
but not-
That's why it's called that.
Yeah, Not only can they communicate, but they can share each other's skills. So, like we talked about the fighting, the Indian lady whose name is Kala,
You
played by
took notes. This
I
doesn't
did
sound like one of our
Is it
podcasts.
Kayla? I thought it was Kala, but she's a scientist. So when they need,
She's a pharmacist.
They need that science or pharmacist.
They totally form like the perfect Justice League
They
because
do,
there's
'cause
the
they can-
fighter, there's the scientist.
Right.
She's a
There's
Or
pharmacist.
it's like Gilligan's
Right.
Island, how everybody
Yeah.
had their purpose except Ginger. She was the hot one.
There's many
Lovey.
fighters, which is great because there are like 3 fighters. Because Son
Van Damme.
He is not a fighter.
No, he's not a fighter. He's
No,
not.
I know.
He's so
Van Damme
so we're
is a
gonna get
bus
there. There's
driver,
a guy
and he
who's
loves Jean-Claude Van Damme. And so he made his whole bus Jean-Claude Van Damme.
It's fantastic. And they're in Nairobi, correct? And so he gets waylaid by some gangsters, and he goes to fight, and he can't fight. Well, the fighters come and fight for him, and he kicks all of their butts.
Yeah, Son jumped into his body
Because
and fought for him.
him and Wolfgang, because Wolfgang fought a little bit for him.
Yeah, Wolfgang is tough, too.
amazing.
Wolfgang's bad.
I like
Yeah.
Wolfie.
Wolfie is bad, and they fight for him. And I was going to go back to it. It's one of my favorite scenes.
Okay.
But Van Damme goes to fight, and he doesn't have his
I love that
pod
because he
with
thinks
him.
he has the power.
He thinks he has the
doesn't
powers.
know how
and
this works yet.
He can't, and he does like a roundhouse kick and falls on his face.
Yeah, and
It
then the
was
guys
great.
just beat the crap out of him.
I love the one from Sweden or wherever.
Iceland?
Iceland. There
Riley?
You go. I was close. I
Yeah,
love
she's
Riley.
great. She's great. I loved her dad. I love that whole thing.
I love her dad, yeah.
Okay, I want to say one thing about this show for you guys and for people watching and people listening. It is not a family-friendly show.
It is not appropriate.
in any way. There
Or- yeah.
is.
Lil, I think you might be old enough.
Your kids might be able to
your
watch this.
kids can't watch this because it's not
It's no
just
alien.
violence.
Yeah.
There is some pretty graphic content, but it's unfortunate that there is because it really is a fantastic,
Sure.
like out of. I don't want to say out of time, but just like it's like a great science fiction show.
Yeah.
It's too bad that we can't let like Molly watch it
Right.
because
well, not yet.
is.
She can. She will eventually be able to.
Eventually.
If you
but-
watch Game of Thrones, you wouldn't be thrown by it at all. No pun
Right,
intended.
but Game of Thrones is that same kind of like graphic
Very
thing going
adult
on.
content.
Yes.
But
so I just think that should be set up front because I have a feeling we're all going to be saying the same recommend on this thing. And it should be set up front that we are recommending it, but be careful. Not to kids.
No, it's an adult themed.
Absolutely.
and not to certain adults.
Great
I
story.
struggle with it a little
Yes.
Great story, though.
Well, it is a great
now,
story.
what did you guys think of the ending? I don't want to
Wait,
spoil
wait,
the
wait.
ending.
Wait, I wanted to say something first. For Rob and I, when we were watching it, we watched the first episode and we were like, okay, we'll keep going. We weren't in love with but the first episode didn't just swoop in and grab us and hook us and make us want to, so we stuck with it. Second episode, we were like, okay, we keep going. By the third episode, we were completely
No,
hooked.
I can pinpoint the moment. I can actually pinpoint the moment. There is a moment, this isn't spoiling anything, when they're all linked up, because this happens quite a bit where they all are kind of in sync, but in the beginning they don't understand, and we don't understand the rules of it. There's a moment when Wolfgang, the German guy, goes to a karaoke bar, and he sings... What's that song?
What's Going On?
What's Going On
I
by
love
Four
Three
Non-Blondes.
Yeah, four non-bonds.
And all the different
8
characters
non-blonde
you see like Kala in India, and she's sitting there and she's meditating, and all of a sudden she starts singing this Four Non-Blondes song.
Yeah.
And then you see like all of them are doing it because they're all synced up. That's the moment
Yeah.
where when that was the end of the episode, and when that ended, it was like I need to watch the next one
and you know what?
now.
There's something about when music is used well. It's like the song in Tiny Dancer and Almost Famous. Where they're singing on the bus.
Yeah, it's just perfect placement.
And all you want to do is hear that song over, and then every time you hear that song for years later, all you can
think of is that. Yeah, Tiny
emotion.
Dancer became the song from Almost Famous.
Became Almost Famous, absolutely.
So this song was
Tarantino
like that.
does a beautiful job with that too.
The other one
and
that
Wes
was
Anderson does too.
Wes Anderson does.
the other one that was in this was the 99 Luft balloons.
Yes.
Oh no, that
No.
was
Wait, hold on. That was the other one.
That's the podcast Chris and I are doing.
that's
Hey.
Deutschland. Okay, wait. What?
But it was great in Deutschland.
It was
They're in
great.
Deutschland in 1983, and they're at a party, and you hear 99 Luftballons, which is funny. But then they're like,
another one
"I
where
love
it's
this song," and you're like, "Of course
Was
you
it the
do."
German or the
It
English
was
version?
the German
It
version.
was the German version. I'm just
But
teasing.
it's another one where it makes you go, I want to
You know
hear
what?
the song over and over again.
When they went to West Berlin and it was playing, that was the English
It was the
version.
English version,
Yeah.
yes. And they
So
played
the
it
German,
everywhere.
I didn't catch that. Oh, our podcast
So anyway,
stinks.
okay, whatever. But back to Sens8. So just stick with
Not just that one, but hey.
Stick with it, and you may not get hooked on the first couple episodes, but stick with it.
Yeah,
is my
and
point.
throughout the whole story, they kind of go in and out of linking together when they think about each other, and there are some love stories in between the
Oh, yeah.
characters,
And they're
which is
awesome.
really awesome.
You know what's great about
Riley
that?
and Will and Wolfgang and
I think
Kala.
it's because they have this connection. It's not just like, oh, it's convenient. We're going to have these two in love, and we're going to.
Right.
I think it's because this connection is so intimate. Because we do see a rather explicit scene where
Yes.
they all get a little charged up, we'll say, and like. It's everybody, but it's
Yes.
and then afterwards,
Yeah,
one of them
but it
makes a reference
wasn't-
like, "Hey, I remember you," and he's like, "Oh, yeah."
But wait
no.
a second, that wasn't intentional.
I know it wasn't,
No,
but I
it's
think
never
that's what it is.
intentional.
It was an
I think the reason
unintentional cosplay.
unintentional. I think the reason they do fall in love and all that is this connection is so deep,
Sure.
and I think that it just drives them together. And I also think that it's because certain ones are together more. Wolfgang and
Kayla.
Kala.
are together a lot, so they bond up.
Right.
If it had been Van Damme and Kala,
Kayla.
It's Kala. It's Kala.
if it had been them, it would have been. And
I have been wrong about 1,000 times already.
it's just
So
interesting.
chances are good it's Kala, but I'm going with Kayla.
It's interesting to think that's because I think as we go forward, we get a second season of this. We may not see that. Wow, Wolfgang and Leela or whatever.
Kayla.
Who?
Kayla.
Kayla.
Kala.
Kala is the one from
India?
Let me have your phone.
No, who's the one from India? No, India.
India's Kala.
Kala and Wolfgang, right?
Yes. Her name is Tina. Yes. She was from Slumdog Millionaire.
Yes.
And
Oh, that's what she's from.
No, she's not from Slumdog Millionaire.
use
She
a
is
phone
from
like
Best
this.
Best Exotic
yes,
Marigold
yes.
Hotel.
I totally recognize her.
How do
Yes.
you get to Google?
Yeah, no, she's not the one from Slumdog Millionaire.
No.
Yeah, so anyway, I think that like you see the two of them have this like very deep falling in love type relationship, but I have a feeling in the second season that may not matter. It may not be let's get the continuing moonlighting story of these two
Right.
characters.
Well, I think that's going to lead them into trouble because the lady
will.
from Iceland foreshadowed that love in a pod is a very narcissistic thing. So.
Yes, and I think that you may see more crossing over as more become more intertwined. That's why it'll be difficult because if one is starting to cross over with another one and the other one is not realized that they're not crossing over,
Right.
there's going to be jealousy and anger and all this stuff within the pod.
Sure.
Now, here's another interesting thing
Molly.
about these pods. When it first started, I thought there can only be 8 because of something that happens at the beginning.
Have to go out.
But we've got Naveen Anders out there, and he's obviously was part of a pod. I don't know if all 8 are still there. It doesn't sound like it.
No, well, one of them
we know is
one
gone.
of them for sure.
But
is not.
I think the rest of them are gone. But here's
I
the
do too.
interesting thing: they meet up with a woman in Iceland who is a Sens8, and she's full of warnings and all this stuff. And it makes you realize there's not just 8 in the world because that's what the setup was in my mind. I thought that's
Right.
what it was.
There's just 8
there
in the
are
pod.
pods. The pods are always 8 people.
Now, this reminds me a little bit of Mako Mermaids, which Molly and I are binge.
Holy cow. That's another binge watch.
Oh, no. That one is not binge-worthy. But, yeah, Molly and I are watching it.
It is
They
for
have the
Molly.
pod.
Molly is binging the heck out of that stuff.
The girls got kicked out of their pod. Quite dramatic. I'm not sure what's going to happen now.
Enough potty talk out of you, lady.
Potty time.
Well, how did they say her name, Molly? You have failed me.
You know what's funny? The audience went silent as soon as the Mako Mermaids came out.
Exactly. That's what happened. So
Scott's like, I love that show. I'm not talking about
that's
it,
cool.
though.
So the one really cool thing that I thought about this, I mean, I think it was a very, and I'm going to butcher the name, it was a very Wachowski brothers, siblings, the Wachowskis type
butchered everything
I know,
on this
it's brutal.
show.
Type of production because they use a lot of alternative types of actors. They went to Bollywood. They went to Europe. They obviously did the American
it's
thing. They went to
great.
England.
It's brilliant.
They used them. And
They
used,
obviously shot in location,
right,
too.
and
because
used them well and they used the people from the area to do that thing. Like we were talking about Sylvester Groth. A guy who's in all these German movies shows up in this one. He's in another one we're watching.
He's in Deutschland 83. And
He's
we're
in
like,
Deutschland
oh my gosh,
83.
it's that guy.
We're
He's
They
talking
also
about-
have
great in
someone
this.
who's transgender.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nomi.
Nomi.
Nomi is, it's very much Lana's story, I believe, and how, she transformed from, what was his name? I can't remember. Michael to Lana, which is great. And then there's a whole
Nomi.
Nomi, from Michael
right.
to Nomi.
Right, Michael to Nomi.
Michael to Nomi, but what was Lana's real name, first name?
Who's Lana?
Wachowski.
Oh, the Wachowski
Brother.
Brother, whatever. I mean, so there's that transform. And then there's the whole Lido thing, which I thought was unbelievably great how they played that
Thank
whole
God they didn't play a Boz Skaggs song for that
yes,
one.
exactly.
Lido.
The Lido Shuffle.
Nothing.
Which was very
Lido.
interesting.
Oh.
And then
That's licensed. We can't do that anymore.
Right. The supporting cast is unbelievable.
He's for the show.
Joe Pantoliano as
Yeah,
another
Joey
Matrix
Pants
family.
is in it.
Joey
Pants is in it.
Joey
Of course,
Pants
he was
is
in
in it.
Matrix.
What's
He's
not
in this.
to like?
Yeah.
Frema Agayaman from Doctor Who plays Nomi's lover.
That's who that is.
Yes.
I knew I recognized
Yes.
her.
She has a bad American accent too. It's
Yes.
horrible.
And the whole time I'm like, at one point I even thought it was her. Then I'm like,
Yeah,
no,
I
that's
thought
not
she
her.
looked familiar.
We're seeing her
That's
naughty
her,
bits,
yeah.
but it was
Yes.
her.
And Naveen Andrew, however you want to
Yeah.
say it, he's a typical. He's a very.
He's always good.
Yeah, he's always good, but he's very prototypical. Their type of character to bring
Yes.
in as a supporting character. So
Yes.
I thought it was really good from that point of view.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's go. What do we vote?
What are we going to vote on this thing?
I say
We'll start with you down there, lady.
I say it is binge worthy. Watch it all at once.
Well, so we have let's set up the categories real fast. You've
Yes.
got them, right?
I do.
We
So-
have different categories. First of all, it's what's the worst?
Don't bother.
Don't bother.
Don't bother. The second one was
Is it worthy? Yeah, it's worth a watch.
It's worth a watch.
Worth a watch. So
then we go
try
into
it.
This up as
Then we go
go.
into two binge worthies where
Yeah,
there's
the
binge worthy, like you have to sit down and watch it. That's the ultimate. Watch it all in one shot and go crazy.
Yeah.
And then there's the other one where you need to
Space it out.
space it out and watch it and give
Like-
yourself some time to breathe.
Like
So,
True Detective is a great example of that. You're not going to sit and watch 8 hours of True Detective unless you want to kill yourself because it is so
Yeah,
brutal
it
to
is
get
too
through.
much.
But
It's
it's
too
awesome.
much.
That one you can't say.
This one
you can
could
say
sit.
binge worthy, but space it out.
This one
See-
you could absolutely sit and watch.
So you, what are you
multiple
voting, Mark?
episodes. I say absolutely binge worthy, and just work through just hang in for the first.
Yeah,
few
hang in there,
episodes,
but you
'cause it's
say just
really
binge it out.
complicated.
see, I did it in two settings, and it was not a stretch, but it was a lot to watch. I mean, it was a lot to watch from the length to me. They were 12, 50-minute episodes or
Yeah.
50 to 55-minute episodes. So to sit for 5 hours was a long time.
you
in the
can't.
first
But you know what, Chris?
But you could do 5, but I don't know if I'd say split it up into a couple. But it's
Well,
definitely
I think we need to define this a little bit better
Yeah,
because
I
when
do
we
too.
say binge it out, for a lot of people, like when Martha and I are binging something out, we don't usually sit
We watch
for
3.
6 hours.
Okay.
We'll watch 2 or 3 episodes of something, and
Every
the next
day,
night we'll
every
watch a
day.
couple more. Next night
Right.
we'll watch a couple more. That is a binge it.
then I'm binging it.
If it's space it out, it's like you watch one on Monday, maybe Wednesday or Thursday, you go back, watch another one.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
that's spacing it out. Definitely get through it quickly, but you're not like, we're going to get through this by the end of the week.
Then binge it.
Binge it.
Binge it,
And you know
absolutely.
what? I think you know where I'm going with it. Totally binge it. binge this thing out and stay with it because those first couple episodes, confusing, not bad.
And you have to adjust yourself to the graphic.
Yeah, you got to get used to it.
Nature.
But boy, once that karaoke scene hits from then on out, and the Van Damme stuff is just
he's brilliant. I love it all.
amazing.
I love the characters, and by the end, I was like, I mean, it was.
I thought the Wolfgang part was amazing.
The Wolfgang part.
He's
That's just it. I was going to say, what's your favorite
Wolfgang.
character? But I don't even have a least favorite of the
Yeah.
characters. I like them all.
Come on, you would. I think we all agreed that Riley is probably the most interesting character of
I
Riley
love
is
Riley.
so great.
I love her. I love her purple hair.
Although, is she the most interesting?
I think so.
For me, I would say Kayla's the least interesting. If I had to say,
But she's
one.
not.
No, but
See,
I'm saying of the
I would-
of a high
and I think
caliber.
I would
going-
say Sun is the most interesting because I think
I
she,
love
no,
Sun.
I like her too, and I like her character and what she
And
brings.
her
but
story is
Her
so good.
story's
That's
brilliant.
the other thing. Each of
Just
these
watch the
characters
show. It's so
has a story,
Yeah.
a very distinct story that is affected by the other Sens8s, but it is a distinct story. And each one of those could have been its own story.
Yeah.
oh, absolutely.
You know, like it didn't need to be tied into the show. They're all strong. Maybe the least strong is Kayla's, but is it really? Because it's more of a think piece, especially with that father-in-law and everything.
I'm not saying hers isn't brilliant. I'm just saying they're all 8 strong stories.
Yeah.
But I'm saying my least.
Which
Would
reminds me
Will's-
of
Would
Babylon
Will's be-
5.
Would
because-
Will's be the most? I mean,
done
as central a figure as Will is in this whole show, does he really? I mean, I'm sitting there.
Which
thinking
one's Will?
Will's the cop from Chicago.
completely compelling. Although they didn't have much of a story for him.
He doesn't.
But he's the glue.
He's the glue, but he.
How great was his partner?
Oh yeah,
His partner, who speaks in metaphor most of the time, is fantastic. It's like pop culture metaphors, everything he says. I can't relate.
He's that guy. He's the
He
hey,
is.
how's it going?
He's great. And he's a Chicago cop. We're in Chicago, so it was like seeing him drive around Chicago, all this stuff. Are we disturbing you, or are you going to stay on your phone over
I
there?
am trying to find out if you say Kayla.
It's,
I'm watching
she's watching an episode. We
But
can
you
put
know
it on
what? We're
TV.
going to end this one before you get to say the answer.
We do.
I just want to know for my own self because I know I'm right.
So for our own self, we'll
Here, I'll
update
play
you
us
next time
out.
on Bingeworthy.
That's that. Yeah.
That's it. So we've got 3 binge it outs. Do it. Do the
Absolutely.
binge. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to Bingeworthy for this week. We're about to go into our next show. Let's hear it from Blue Box.